Have you ever felt like you've given all your love, care, and sincerity to someone, only to be met with indifference or disrespect in return? Have you ever wondered why your efforts to build a relationship seem to go unnoticed, and why you feel like just an option in someone else's life? These moments can leave us feeling empty, as if our genuine intentions are meaningless and we are not being valued. This feeling can deeply hurt us, making us question our self-worth and sometimes wondering if we truly deserve to be respected by others. If you've ever experienced these emotions in your life, then this video is the answer you've been seeking. Imagine, instead of trying to change or please others to receive love, you could naturally build respect and admiration from them. No more sacrificing yourself or seeking approval from the world around you. Instead, you become a person of value and autonomy, someone others willingly respect and want in their lives. From here, you'll discover that your strength and value don't come from how others treat you, but from how you perceive and develop yourself. Buddhist philosophy offers priceless principles that help us cultivate self-contentment and self-respect, so that we are not dependent on the opinions or emotions of others. Buddhism does not encourage us to seek love or recognition from the outside. Instead, through understanding and nurturing ourselves, we naturally become people who attract respect and love from those around us. This is not about begging or relying on others, but a journey of reconnecting with our true value. Like a lamp that illuminates the night, we can shine with our own natural light and attract others without forcing or struggling to do so. In this video, we will explore the precious principles taught by Buddhist philosophy. These principles guide us in building inner strength and confidence, which in turn create respect and love from others without the need to beg or hold on. Stay with me until the end, and together we will learn and practice each of these principles to see the changes within ourselves and in how others perceive you. What we are about to explore will not only shed light on how others treat you, but also change the way you see and evaluate your own worth in this life. Creating value for oneself is one of the key principles in Buddhist philosophy, where self-respect and self-worth are not only positive qualities, but also the foundation for building a meaningful life. When we truly understand our own value, our lives become more balanced, and our relationships with others naturally become more respectful. In Buddhist philosophy, every individual has a unique and precious value, and what matters is how we nurture this self-respect in our hearts. Buddhism does not encourage us to seek respect from others through grand gestures or attention-seeking actions. Instead, we are guided to recognize our value from within. When we accept and are content with our true selves, we no longer get caught up in the cycle of seeking external recognition, but instead naturally radiate charm and confidence. From here, respect does not come from trying to be acknowledged by others, but is the result of self-awareness and recognition of our own value. This is the story of a young woman named Zinnia, who lives in New York. Zinnia always felt the need to do whatever it took to get others' attention. She frequently attended social events, trying to be the center of every conversation, hoping that those around her would acknowledge and respect her. However, despite her efforts, Zinnia still felt empty inside. It seemed that the more she tried to be noticed, the further she drifted from others. One day, by chance, Zinnia attended a meditation retreat and began learning about Buddhist philosophy. Through meditation and listening to teachings on self-respect, she gradually realized that her value did not come from the attention of others, but from the inner peace and acceptance she had within herself. After a while, Zinnia no longer felt the need to seek attention. She began spending time with herself, finding joy in simple things like reading books, taking walks in the park, or meditating every morning. She came to understand that her happiness no longer depended on others. Instead, she felt peaceful and content from within. Strangely enough, when Zinnia stopped seeking attention, those around her began to notice that she had a special charm. They willingly approached her to talk, to find peace in her presence, and the respect they gave her became more genuine and profound. Zinnia's story illustrates that when we stop chasing the attention of others, when we truly discover and appreciate our inner value, respect comes naturally. Buddhism teaches that true value is not something that can be measured by how others perceive us, but is the sense of peace and contentment we find within. Impermanence, a key principle in Buddhism, reminds us that everything outside of us is constantly changing and will not last forever. When we understand and accept this principle, we no longer rely on the opinions of others. We are no longer caught in the cycle of the ever-changing external world. Instead, we build a solid foundation from within. Buddhism teaches that when we understand and respect ourselves, we will stop seeking external validation. This self-respect is not arrogance, but the understanding that every individual has their own intrinsic value. When we are no longer dependent on the approval or praise of others, we naturally shine, like a lamp of inner peace, bringing tranquility to ourselves and inspiring those around us. This is the moment we truly live by the principles of impermanence and contentment, no longer swayed by how others perceive or judge us. Therefore, instead of trying to make others notice us, let's focus on building self-respect and understanding our own worth. By doing this, not only does our life become more peaceful and meaningful, but we also become the person whom others come to with genuine respect and admiration. Our presence in the lives of others becomes more valuable when it is not always available. When something is rare, it often becomes more appreciated, and this is why limiting our availability can help increase our own value. Time is the most precious resource we have, and when we learn to manage our presence, we help others recognize and cherish the moments they spend with us. Like a precious item, when it's not always visible, it creates a sense of longing, causing others to see the true value of our presence. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that, much like in meditation, every moment is valuable when we give it our full attention and deep awareness. Meditation is not just about sitting still. It is a journey of respecting each moment. When we practice this, we realize that by limiting our accessibility, we enhance the value of our presence. Instead of always being available, we learn to make others understand that our presence is a gift. In this way, every moment we spend with others becomes more meaningful, as it is seen as something rare, a precious experience to be cherished. Darian was someone who always showed up first whenever family or friends needed him. He believed the only way to show care was by always being present and ready to help whenever asked. But over time, he began to notice that he became the person who was simply expected to be there, and no one truly appreciated the time he dedicated to them. He felt drained and no longer found joy in constantly trying to meet everyone's expectations. During a meditation retreat, Darian learned that personal freedom and time for oneself are important. He began applying this lesson to his life by limiting his availability, not always being ready to answer every call. At first, Darian's family and friends were confused by this change in him, but over time, they began to realize that whenever Darian was present, he gave his full attention and energy to them. The times spent with him became more special because everyone knew that his presence was not always guaranteed. By limiting his accessibility, Darian created a sense of appreciation from others for the time and presence he offered, and he also found peace by holding space for himself. Darian's story shows that when we are not always available, others begin to recognize our value, and our presence becomes more memorable. In meditation, when each moment is given full attention and awareness, we realize the value of spending time on ourselves. Similarly, when we limit our accessibility, we not only create precious space for ourselves, but also help others appreciate each moment spent with us. Our time is limited, and when we learn to preserve it, we also come to understand that every moment is valuable and irreplaceable. Keeping a sense of mystery about ourselves can be one of the most powerful ways to create attraction in relationships. In meditation, mystery is not just an aspect, it is a means to dive deep into the inner self, to explore the deeper layers of the mind without revealing everything to others. Meditation is a journey of discovery where patience and stillness are the keys. It is this mystery that creates a special allure, making others yearn to understand more and wait for the intriguing things that will unfold over time. Mystery in meditation is like a tall mountain or a deep lake, calm on the outside but containing countless secrets within. Only those who are truly patient and persistent can feel its full depth. Similarly, when we keep part of ourselves hidden, we give others a reason to be curious and explore. This is not about intentionally keeping secrets, but rather creating space for others to feel and appreciate. In everyday life, mystery is not only something new, but also helps build respect from others because they know that every time something is shared, it is meaningful and valuable. Maren, who lives in San Francisco, is known among friends and colleagues for being friendly, yet never sharing everything about her private life. She doesn't attend every social gathering and only talks about important matters when she feels it is necessary. Every time she shares a story, everyone feels interested and valued because they know it is something she has thought about and carefully chosen. Maren doesn't let her personal life become an open book, and this makes those around her constantly curious, wanting to know more about her. Her friends know that she is trustworthy, but to understand her deeply, they must invest time and effort to explore her, piece by piece. The way Maren keeps an air of mystery in her life not only makes her relationships more interesting, but also naturally earns her respect from friends and colleagues. They know that whenever she opens up, it is something precious. It is part of her charm, neither fully exposed nor gradually closed off, allowing those who truly care to gradually uncover more. Much like meditation, where patience is key to understanding oneself, the way Maren maintains an aura of mystery is like a calm lake that holds depths meant for those willing to explore. Buddhism teaches us that mystery is also a form of wisdom. A clear, still lake doesn't reveal everything within it, but those who are patient will discover a vibrant, colorful, and meaningful world beneath the surface. Sometimes, understanding doesn't need to be explicit. It comes from what we sense through patience and inquiry. Just like a mountain that may appear peaceful but contains a deep history and indescribable natural beauty, we too should know how to keep a part of ourselves hidden so others can truly recognize and appreciate our value. In life, maintaining some level of mystery can help us preserve respect and attraction from others. Not everything needs to be spoken, and often it is what remains unsaid that makes others remember us more. This is what creates strength and a special kind of allure. Relationships become more meaningful and profound when others are willing to invest their time, energy, and emotions into understanding and caring for each other. This investment is not only how we bond with others, but also the foundation of mutual respect and honor. Just like someone who spends time nurturing a garden, our relationships with others require care and attention to truly grow and become enduring. When others invest in us, they're not just offering their affection, but also becoming more connected to the memories and values we share together. From this, a relationship is no longer a fleeting encounter, but a long journey of empathy and understanding. In Buddhist philosophy, the value of dedication is seen as an important aspect of the spiritual path. When we practice the Dharma, we invest our time and effort into developing our minds, becoming better, and attaining inner peace. This process requires patience and perseverance, not the result of a quick action. Practicing the Dharma is like caring for a burning candle. The flame must be tended to so that it shines, but it must also be handled gently so it does not extinguish. When others invest in us, they are also embarking on a similar journey, where their dedication not only creates connection, but also makes every moment more meaningful. In Buddhism, the investment of time and energy is not just for enlightenment, but also for deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. Consider the story of Thaddeus, a person who deeply cares for his friends and family in New York. Rather than approaching people superficially, Thaddeus takes the time to understand the personality and interests of each individual. When a friend of his, Mike, is going through a difficult time in life, instead of offering just a few brief words of encouragement, Thaddeus sits down with him, listens to his troubles, and helps him find direction. It is this investment of time and emotion into their relationship that makes Mike feel the sincerity and respect Thaddeus has for him. Mike realizes that Thaddeus's friendship is not something easily found, and this makes their relationship deeper and more valued. They are not just friends, they are true companions, ready to support each other through all the difficult phases of life. Thaddeus's story clearly illustrates that when we truly invest in relationships with others, we do not just create a temporary connection, but lay the foundation for a long-lasting and resilient bond. People like Mike, who receive Thaddeus's dedication, will not easily walk away from him. They understand that this relationship is precious, not just because of the time Thaddeus has spent, but also due to the genuine emotion and deep care he brings. This creates a greater value for both sides, making them feel happy and at peace in the relationship. In Buddhism, the practice of giving is not only for others but also a way for us to find balance and peace in our own hearts. Giving does not need to be grand or distant. It is about sincere presence, listening without judgment, and always being ready to help others through their difficulties. When we invest in those around us, we are also investing in ourselves, for meaningful relationships bring joy and warmth into life. Self-care and self-respect are core values in Buddhist philosophy. Buddhism teaches that in order to love and help others, we must first learn to love ourselves. This is not selfishness, but the foundation for all acts of kindness. When we prioritize taking care of ourselves, we create a positive energy and a healthy mindset to face life's challenges. Imagine that each person is like a vessel. If the vessel is empty, it cannot be filled. Similarly, when we nurture and care for our hearts, we can share peace, compassion, and love with those around us. In daily life, many people tend to sacrifice so much for others that they forget their own needs. This often stems from kindness and concern for others, but when we gradually neglect ourselves, we not only lose our sense of balance, but may also become people who are taken for granted. Imagine the story of Leora, a devoted mother living in Chicago. Leora always put her family's needs first, from taking care of the children to worrying about every little detail of her husband's life. She rarely took time for herself, had no time to pursue personal hobbies, or even to spend quiet moments reflecting. She felt she had done everything for her family, but couldn't understand why she was feeling emptier and more exhausted every day. After a long period of time, Leora realized that her self-neglect was the cause of her exhaustion. She decided to make a change, starting to dedicate a little time each day to take care of herself, joining a yoga class, reading books, and occasionally giving herself some space. At first, Leora's family was a bit surprised, but over time, they realized that when Leora was happy and relaxed, the whole family became more harmonious. Her children began to respect her personal time and even became more independent. Her husband, who was initially surprised, gradually understood and appreciated Leora's change, realizing that a happy wife is the foundation of a happy family. Leora not only regained her balance, but also built better relationships with her family, all because she learned to love and care for herself. Leora's story illustrates a valuable lesson in Buddhism. When we learn to respect and take care of ourselves, we will no longer become unnecessary sacrifices. Buddhism advises us not to place ourselves in the role of someone who only sacrifices without knowing how to love ourselves. When we understand and respect ourselves, those around us will feel this positive change, leading to relationships based on mutual respect and empathy. Self-reliance and personal freedom are among the natural qualities that attract others. When we stop making others the center of our lives, we free ourselves from dependence and attached bonds. This not only helps us feel freer, but also leads others to view us with respect and admiration. A person who can achieve happiness and fulfillment in their life often radiates a strong energy and peace without needing external recognition. Buddhism also teaches the concept of self-sufficiency, which means not clinging to anything or anyone in search of peace and contentment. According to Buddhist philosophy, true happiness comes from within, not from external things. This inner freedom is what allows a person to live a happy life, unaffected by others' judgments or presence. Buddhism advises that when we cling to something, especially a person, we become vulnerable when that thing or person is not around. Like an immovable mountain, unaffected by storms, we must train ourselves not to rely on others. This independence strengthens our inner power and helps us maintain peace of mind regardless of external circumstances. Imagine the story of Vesper, a young man living in Los Angeles. He had always needed the companionship of others to feel secure, constantly seeking recognition and affection from friends and partners. Whenever there was any conflict or misunderstanding, he felt like he'd lost a part of his worth and easily fell into an unbalanced state. However, one day, Vesper realized that seeking happiness from others only made him more insecure and took away his control over his own life. He decided to change, starting to build his life on his own, from personal hobbies to work and goals that he had long neglected. He learned to find joy in each moment without needing anyone by his side. Over time, Vesper became a stronger person and no longer depended on others' opinions or attention to feel happy. He began to be content with the things he did, from walking on the beach alone in the early mornings to taking art classes he loved. Interestingly, when Vesper stopped seeking validation from others, those around him began to sense a sense of peace and attraction from him. His relationships became more natural, without tension or forced effort. His friends began to view him as a person with a natural appeal, someone who found joy on his own. Vesper's story proves that when we take control of our lives and stop making others the center, we build deeper relationships. Buddhism teaches that seeking happiness from the outside world can easily lead to disappointment because everything in life is impermanent and constantly changing. When we know how to live freely and not cling to anyone, we can maintain a peaceful state even when circumstances change. This not only helps us live a happy life, but also helps us build relationships based on depth, where people respect and love us for who we truly are. Instead of depending on others, we should learn to create our own happiness and joy. In communication and relationships, maintaining balance is extremely important. Buddhism teaches that everything requires harmony and balance, and this includes how we interact with others. When we are always the ones to initiate contact, creating every conversation and connection, we may unintentionally make others take our presence for granted. In contrast, when we know how to maintain some distance and wait for others to approach us, we create a natural balance and make people value our presence. This patience and wisdom not only help us maintain healthy relationships, but also earn respect and appreciation from others. Edda, a young woman living in New York, used to always initiate conversations with her friends, family, and even at work. She was afraid that if she didn't take the first step, people would forget about her, and her relationships would gradually fade away. Whenever something exciting happened, she was the one to text or call first to share the news. However, as time passed, Edda began to feel tired and a bit disappointed when she realized that very few people took the initiative to reach out to her. She felt like she was carrying all the relationships on her own, and that people didn't really care about her. After attending a meditation and Buddhism course, Edda began to realize that she needed to adjust her way of communicating. She decided to try a small change to stop always being the one to take the initiative. Instead of sending the first message or calling everyone, Edda started to wait and create space for others to contact her. At first, she felt anxious that people might drift away, but she remained patient with her change. The miracle was that after a while, her friends and family began to reach out to her more. They asked how she was doing, wanted to know what she was up to, and started sharing more when they noticed the change in her. Edda's story shows that when we don't always take the first step, we create space for others to show their interest in us. By keeping some distance and being patient, we don't let relationships fade. On the contrary, it helps to create the balance that is needed. People began to respect and appreciate Edda's presence more, and her relationships became deeper and more sincere. They no longer took her presence for granted, but truly valued the time and effort she gave to them. Buddhism reminds us that every connection needs balance between giving and receiving, between being proactive and passive. When we maintain this balance, we not only create harmonious relationships, but also help others understand our worth. Just like the balance in nature, not too much, not too little, in relationships, we also need to create harmony so that the attraction and respect for one another do not fade away. Instead of always being the initiator, sometimes we should let others have the opportunity to express their affection and concern for us. True happiness does not come from external things, it comes from within each of us. When we find contentment and joy in our own lives, we naturally become more attractive to those around us. This not only makes our lives more meaningful, but also brings peace, helping us face challenges with more ease. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not found in flashy moments or temporary pleasures from material things, but rather in the internal state of the mind, where we feel satisfied with ourselves and everything around us. When we know how to be happy from within, we are no longer influenced by external factors and can find joy and peace in every circumstance. In Buddhism, the path to inner happiness includes the practice of meditation and cultivating gratitude. Meditation helps us return to ourselves, to listen and understand each thought, each feeling. Through meditation, we learn to accept whatever happens around us without getting caught up in worries or meaningless desires. Gratitude is also a key element, helping us appreciate the small and simple things in life, like the sunlight each morning, a warm cup of coffee, or the peaceful moments spent with loved ones. When we are grateful for the little things, we realize that happiness does not need to be sought far away. It is present in every ordinary moment. Ben, a man living in Seattle, once believed that he needed a successful career and a perfect life in order to be happy. He set goals to make a lot of money, buy a big house, and own things that he thought would bring him joy. However, when he achieved these things, Ben still felt that something was missing. He realized that joy from material things is only temporary, and even after getting what he wanted, he didn't truly feel happy. By chance, Ben attended a meditation course and gradually changed his perspective on happiness. Through his practice of meditation, Ben realized that the small things in life were what truly brought joy. He began to spend time on activities he had previously neglected, like taking walks in the park, caring for the plants in his garden, and enjoying the quiet moments each morning. He also started keeping a gratitude journal, writing down the 3 things he was thankful for each day. Over time, Ben realized that real happiness does not come from what we have, but from how we view and appreciate our lives. This change helped him find joy in the simplest things, and surprisingly, this sense of peace made those around him feel comfortable being near him. Ben's story is a testament to the fact that when we find happiness from within, we not only enrich our own lives, but also spread positive energy to those around us. Others can sense the joy and peace within us, and this naturally creates attraction. We don't need to show off or try to impress others, we just need to live authentically, and others will feel that sincerity. Buddhist teachings remind us that when we find inner happiness, our lives become a source of inspiration, a living proof that happiness doesn't need to come from grand things, but from appreciating and being grateful for what we already have. Sometimes, happiness lies in moments of stillness, listening to the birds sing, watching the sunset, or simply feeling the steady rhythm of our own breath. These peaceful moments help us connect with ourselves, reminding us that happiness doesn't depend on material things or status, but resides in the calmness of the soul. In life, there are unhealthy relationships, bonds that we often hold on to for various reasons, perhaps because we fear losing the sense of familiarity, because we don't want to be alone, or simply due to habits that have become too difficult to break. However, Buddhism teaches that letting go is an important part of attaining happiness and inner peace. When we are willing to let go of relationships that do not bring joy, appreciation, or self-respect, we create space for healthier and more positive things to come into our lives. Letting go not only protects our self-respect, but also helps keep our soul peaceful free from being influenced by unhealthy connections. According to Buddhist philosophy, life is impermanent. Everything changes, and nothing lasts forever. When we accept this law, we no longer cling to anything, and this applies to relationships as well. Not being dependent on anyone helps us maintain freedom within our soul, not relying on others to find happiness or fulfillment. Instead, we learn to find joy from within and not allow others to define our self-worth. When we understand the value of non-attachment, we can gently and peacefully let go of things that no longer serve us. Imagine the story of Evangeline, a woman living in Chicago. She once had a relationship in which she always tried to please the other person, always yielding and sacrificing herself to maintain the relationship. However, she realized that the other person never truly valued her, but saw her as a temporary option, someone to lean on whenever they needed it. Evangeline gradually lost her sense of self-worth, feeling undeserving, and began living in anxiety, fearing that if the relationship ended, she would be left alone. After some reflection and learning about Buddhism, Evangeline decided to let go of this relationship. At first, she felt heartbroken and empty, but with each passing day, she realized that freedom and inner peace were more important than any relationship that didn't bring her joy. Evangeline began rebuilding her life, finding happiness in simple things like reading, attending meditation classes, and connecting with new friends who valued and respected her. She realized that letting go of an unhealthy relationship wasn't a failure, but a wise decision that helped her preserve her self-respect and find true meaning in life. Maintaining emotional balance is an important factor in sustaining healthy relationships and earning respect from others. When we can control our emotions, we are less likely to be swept up by anger or sadness, instead maintaining a calm and patient spirit. This helps us not only handle conflicts better, but also present ourselves as trustworthy and stable in the eyes of those around us. Maintaining emotional balance doesn't mean ignoring or denying our feelings, but learning how to experience and handle them wisely, so that emotions do not control our actions or cause us to lose ourselves in difficult situations. In Buddhist philosophy, meditation is an important tool for developing emotional control. Meditation teaches us how to recognize and accept all emotions without being caught up in them. Instead of reacting immediately when facing challenges, meditation helps us observe our emotions from a more objective perspective, clearing the mind and making it calmer. This creates inner peace, enabling us to respond rather than react. In Buddhism, maintaining emotional balance is one of the ways to achieve inner tranquility and is also a method for maintaining harmonious relationships where patience and compassion are expressed in every word and action. Emmerich is a businessman living in New York. In the past, he was easily affected by criticism and disagreements from others. Whenever a conflict arose, he often felt frustrated and didn't hesitate to respond immediately. This not only harmed his relationships with colleagues, but also made him tense and exhausted. Emmerich always believed that he needed to prove something in every conversation, and he could not accept being opposed. However, after a friend advised him to take a meditation class, he began to understand the importance of emotional balance. Through time spent practicing meditation, Emmerich learned how to observe his emotions without letting them control his actions. Instead of reacting immediately to criticism, he started to focus on his breath and think before responding. He found himself becoming calmer, no longer swept away by anger or pride. As a result, Emmerich not only maintained his professionalism, but also significantly improved his relationships. Colleagues and friends began to respect him more for his composure and wise handling of situations. This helped him build a trustworthy image, and those around him felt more comfortable working with him. Emmerich's story shows that when we learn to control our emotions, not only does our personal life improve, but our relationships also benefit. Buddhism teaches that tranquility and the ability to observe our emotions help us maintain peace and better control over our lives. When we don't allow emotions to dominate, we can face any situation with confidence and compassion. This not only brings us personal happiness, but also earns us respect and admiration from others. The principles we've explored are valuable tools for building relationships based on respect and genuine love. Each principle helps us create a natural attraction while also bringing a sense of peace and ease. From creating value for ourselves, limiting our availability so others appreciate our presence, to maintaining a sense of mystery that sparks curiosity and dedication in relationships. All of these contribute to creating lasting, meaningful connections. They help us build respect in the eyes of others and confidence within ourselves. Each principle also emphasizes the importance of maintaining balance between giving and receiving. When we invest time and emotion selectively, prioritize our own needs, and avoid becoming the perpetual sacrificer, we begin to realize our own value in every relationship. This not only makes us the person others turn to, but also helps us maintain self-respect and independence in relationships. By not making others the center of our lives, we not only preserve our inner freedom, but also attract their admiration. Keeping emotional balance in daily interactions helps us build healthy relationships that are not swayed by negative emotions, creating a harmonious and respectful communication environment. These principles are not only advice for relationships, but also methods for living a happy and fulfilling life. When we learn to create personal happiness from simple things and let go of what no longer serves us, we feel freedom and peace within. This sense of ease brings not only personal happiness, but also spreads to those around us. Just like a candle can light many others without losing its own flame, when we find balance and peace inside, we can share joy and love with others without feeling tired or burdened. Buddhism constantly reminds us that life is impermanent, everything changes, and we cannot control everything around us. Only when we accept life's impermanence and find inner peace can we truly attract love and respect from others. This inner peace helps us not depend on anyone or anything to seek happiness, but instead, we learn to cherish and love ourselves. When we no longer cling to others' opinions or judgments, we can live a free, happy, and complete life. With these lessons, I encourage you to start with small steps. Apply each principle one by one. Try to maintain a little mystery for yourself. Begin letting go of what no longer fits, or simply take time to create happiness from the simple things around you. Each small action will help you gradually feel positive changes in your relationships and in your life. Be patient with yourself and remember that transformation doesn't happen immediately, but is the result of steady, small steps forward. This journey not only helps you build fulfilling relationships, but also offers you an opportunity to explore and grow as a person. Each of these principles is a part of self-care, self-respect, and inner freedom that Buddhism advocates. Ultimately, when we practice these principles, we will not only create a happy life for ourselves, but also become a source of joy and peace for those around us.